watch this video, fans. Subscribe, comment, and share. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, as president of the largest youth organization in the Niger Delta, we understand the challenges and the complaints we are receiving from our people on a daily basis. And someone that is grassrooted, that lives with the people, the complaints we receive, not just the complaint, we also experience what the situation is telling in our own environment. The fuel crisis that the nation is experiencing, if you come to the Niger Delta region, the impact on us is more than what those in the cities are facing, because we are riverine community dwellers. Now as we speak, a liter of fuel in our communities are being sold for above 3,000 naira. Transportation cost as we speak is above 300% increments, and to even get the petrol product is a bone of contention. This government, being led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on the day of his inauguration, made a categorical statement that fuel subsidy is a thing of the past, and the proceeds that will be coming from the removal of the fuel subsidy is going to use for critical infrastructure that will benefit the living condition and the standard of the people. As a president and as people, are we in support of the removal of fuel subsidy? The simple answer is yes. But are we okay with the way the presidency and its managers are handling the situation? The answer is no. As Mr. President and his team players failed us in the removal of fuel subsidy, the answer is yes. Nigeria is a developing nation, and the challenges before us are economic challenges. The hardship before our people is unbearable. We were expecting that when Mr. President removes subsidy, he will give the NNPC and the Ministry of Petroleum a marching order to make sure that our infrastructures, which are the refineries that's owned by the federal government, the Port Harcourt refinery, the Warri refinery, and the Kaduna refineries, within a period of 2, 3, 6 months, that those refineries are going to be up and working. But till date, none of the refineries are functioning. And that is why you see that the international oil market is now controlling the fuel price in our nation. And the thing is biting hard on our people. At this particular point in time, we were expecting that Mr. President, being the president of all Nigerians, will fire anybody in his cabinet that is not doing well. But we have come to also understand and realize that Mr. President is not concerned about the well-being of those that he's governing. How can you be a petroleum minister, oil, going everywhere assuring Nigeria that in the next 2 months the Port Harcourt refinery is going to start production, lying to Nigerians, giving Mr. President false informations? What about the GMD of the NFSC, Melekari? He has been everywhere deceiving even Mr. President, telling him that we don't want to be tentative about that, but believe you me, in the next 2 months the refineries are going to be up and functioning. 1 year and running, we haven't seen any results. The simple thing in ideal and a working society is that this group of persons that have lied to Mr. President, which is the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, also have lost their jobs. But we say that Mr. President is handling these affairs of Nigeria with kid gloves. He has given the power to hire and fire by virtue of the 1999 Constitution as been amended. But to fire is now becoming a problem to Mr. President. We are calling on Mr. President that the Melekari-led NNPC Limited has failed Nigerians. He should be fired and be probed, because almost all his dealings in the NNPC and the survival of Nigeria economy has been selective. Why am I saying so? The NNPC is more concerned about what he will export to run the Nigeria economy than what and how the Nigerians are going to survive under this harsh economic hardship. Nigerians came out to protest about these challenges, and some mischief makers to try to suppress Nigerians by telling them that there is no hunger, that everything is well with us. Barely 2 weeks after the said protest, Nigerians are now buying petrol for 1,200 naira per liter. Is that the palliative that they promised Nigerians that they are going to send to us during the protest? Or is that the format or the modalities that they said that they will use to cushion up the hardship that Nigerians were complaining during the protest? We have seen that this government is a capitalist government that does not have the people at heart. And I believe, as the president of the largest ethnic youth organization in the Niger Delta, we are going to galvanize and consult more youth organizations to see the next step that we are going to take that will be appropriate to reduce the suffering level of our people and Nigeria at large. Secondly, we are calling on Mr. President, as the Chief Commander-in-Chief, Federal Republic of Nigeria, to fire the Melekari-led NNPC board and the petroleum minister that is in charge of our refineries that has continued to lie to us. Instead of them to tell us that they don't have the crude to give to the Port Harcourt, the Kaduna, and the Warri refinery. If they give that, the Nigerian government will be running with zero budget because they have used almost all the production capacity Nigeria is generating to borrow money. Tell us the truth so that we will know. Despite that, come to the Niger Delta, involve more hands so that we will have higher production capacity. These people are playing selective politics on how we are going to up the production level of the crude oil that is domiciled in the Niger Delta. If Mr. President is ready to see how production can get back to 2 million barrels per day, he should engage more hands in the Niger Delta. Don't be selective with the things that will increase production in the Niger Delta so that the local refineries can see crude to refine and give us petrol at a cheaper rate that the common Nigeria can get. By so doing, we believe cost of living is going to reduce and the people in the Niger Delta are also going to have a meaningful life and living condition. The Niger Delta, in as much as Nigeria is concerned, is the oil and gas industrial hub. And as people that are being the host and having the impact, the negative impact of the oil and gas industry, we are also expected to benefit on the industry that is domiciled in our region. But the NNPC and its players find it very difficult to engage the people of the Niger Delta when it comes to employment and engagement. The Local Content Act has been established is that where you can get a local materials from a company, a competent company that is of local made, that company should be given priority attention or first right of refusal before you go elsewhere to bring in those manpower. We were expecting that the NNPC and its subsidiaries will also imply that in terms of employment. But we have come to understand that if you go to the NNPC and its parastatal, that their main area of operation is the Niger Delta, we have non-indigenes operating in all the areas, and this group of people expect us to be comfortable with such acts. The IYC over times has always told the NNPC and its subsidiary that, look, for us to be stakeholders in this oil and gas industry, give us the first right of refusal. Now we are telling the NNPC and its subsidiary, in your employment, give us at least 50% of the employment slot. If you are employing 1,000 persons, 500 of that 1,000 slot should be given to the people of the Niger Delta. By so doing, we will voluntarily, without even somebody telling us, protect and give the necessary advice that will make the oil and gas industry strive in the Niger Delta region. We have contacted them. We have sent in our signal to them why they have to give us at least 50% of the recruitment that they want to do to the people of the Niger Delta for equity sake. Because the hydrocarbon pollution that is happening, the modification that the environment are going, it is the people of the Niger Delta that are bearing the brunt. So when it comes to enjoyment in terms of employment, we should be given the opportunity to also enjoy what is killing our people. That is our position. Dangote refinery, the modular refineries are some of those areas that we believe that if it's up and running, the Nigeria petroleum price, that is the petrol price, diesel, and issues of delay in importation and all the rest are going to be thing of the past. We remember when Mr. President was given the NNPC, the Melekari, the marching order, and the petroleum minister that this crude oil should be supplied to the Dangote refinery in naira. And by virtue of even the operating standard, there is certain percentage of crude that ought to be given to local refiners. Today, the 3 federal government-owned refineries are not working. And to even give the one that was allocated to these 3 federal government modular refineries, since they are not operational, divert that to the Dangote refinery so that Nigerians can have products to use. Melekari and the petroleum minister have decided not to obey Mr. President's directive, thereby making the Dangote refinery very difficult to get the needed crude. These are the only ways that the subsidy removal will impact positively to the living condition of the people. Those within the corridor of power, like Melekari, have decided to play politics with it, because what he's doing in the NNPC is selective politics. Those that are in his good book, he will engage them. Those that are not in his good book, he will mark asterisk on them and decide to punish them. And Dangote happens to be one of such. What about the modular refineries that are completed? They can't even get crude to refine. Now in the Niger Delta, they said our boys are into artisanal refinery. Under the Powara administration, the then vice president came around to see how they can form cluster. What we want is jobs provision for our people. And due to the lack of job availability, people have now devised a means of livelihood. We were expecting the federal government to come, partner with the locals to see how they can cluster these illegal artisanal refiners, up the technology to see how the waste can be managed, to see how the environmental degradation that these artisanal refiners are causing to the environment, and to see how they will be paying for the crude just for the purpose of job creation and making ends meet. But all the federal government and the NNPC has been given Mr. President wrong advice, thereby making it very difficult to put these ideas into reality. What is there? The GMD NNPC, Melekari, have decided to play politics, selective politics in the oil and gas industry. The petroleum minister have decided not to take the position and the cries of the people of the Niger Delta and Nigeria into consideration. All what we want is that since the people of the Niger Delta cannot go to Zamfara to do gold mining business, the oil and gas industry that is domiciled in our area, our people should be carried along. I don't think the people of the Niger Delta are asking for too much. Give us those opportunities and you will see that there will be free, good working relationship between the people and the Ministry of Petroleum and the NNPC Limited. That is just the position. We want fair treatment to the people of the Niger Delta so that we will use what we have, our environment and our mind, to protect the market, the industry that is domiciled in our environment. Thank you.